Well, it's pretty much Easter Day, and I must say that it's been a bit of a loner day. I know there were a few eggs left on the table, and sure enough, I've been munching them, but because I can't find the board games, they're tucked in a box somewhere, whenever I'm at home and everyone else is at home. They just don't want to communicate to you, really. They just want to ignore you, and that's pretty much what we did. They were, out in the garden. They had breakfast, and then they phoned up a friend, and then they talked to the friend, and then they went to the garden, and then they went for a drive to a paint store or something, and then they came back, did some more gardening, and now they're cooking dinner. And so, pretty much no contact between me and the other person who I live with, and not like I really wanted to have contact with them, but they're very quite intolerant of me, I guess, in a way. Like I've said many times, I didn't really want to be living here. I feel like I'm overstepping my boundaries, but the only thing that I'm benefiting is that I'm not actually paying any rent. And since, I can't actually buy anything right now financially, still waiting for that golden ticket in the form of a lottery to give me what I need to move on, safely and not in a rushed manner that will make me lose my money. Sure enough, I could move tomorrow and be living by myself somehow, somewhere, I don't know, but I'm not very good at moving to an unstable sort of place. I sort of need more grounding and footing, because otherwise I'm just spending my money and I'm just wasting my time, really. But yeah, anyways, so they were sort of they seem to be being emotional in the morning. That's why they phone their friend to talk to someone. But every time I go out of my room or I meet them, it's a fairly degenerate kind of reaction. They're very stiff and they don't want you here. It's not, and they're not telling you that. They're not saying they don't want you here, but they're just it's oh, it's one word. It's they sort of want things separate. And I want things separate too, because I just don't want to be around someone who has a lot of intolerance and doesn't even want to talk to you, and doesn't, even if I waste my time talking to them 3 hours a day, in the end, they're going to turn around and say, I just don't like you for some whatever reason. So I've wasted many hours talking to them. It's I could talk to them every day, and then when they feel like it, they turn their mood swing and go, I just hate you, I hate being around you, I don't want you here, sort of thing. So that's what I sort of feel like. I feel like I'm being around someone who just doesn't really want me there, but is saying, okay, you can stay, but they, I think it's really quite spiteful, or yeah, almost, it is hateful in a way, but it's not like they're hating you exactly, but you think if you have a 3 or 4 hour conversation with the person, you would want to think that they like you a little bit, but when the crux comes, when it comes down to the boiling point, they might not like you at all. And that's what I feel like. I feel like, oh yeah, I've wasted my time. They'll bitch about someone else, just talking about their life and not really wanting to talk to them. But then you talk to them many hours and they just turn around and say, I hate you and I can't stand you, So it's a really difficult kind of situation. Especially since I'm supposed to be a relative. In fact, not a sibling, a bloody kid, since I'm supposed to be one of the kids or whatever, it's very hateful, and I wish I went around it. I'm subjecting myself to a lot of to a lot of scrutiny, I guess. No, I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I don't think they deserve to know you, if they just don't like you. And I spent hours talking to them, and then in the end, it's like, oh, like, and then in the end, they just turn around and say, I don't like you. So, and I get that. I mean, I didn't want to move in with them either because I hated their personality. They dyed their hair white, started to turn old. They're different. They're shorter physically than what they used to be, and I used to think they was a different person. But if it's the same person, they definitely lost something. Something that used to be there that sort of. I mean, they've always been sort of in hate, but I think more and more it's just I'm getting more and more aware and more intolerant, and they're blasting me more and more. So I don't know. I just don't think they should know you, and I wish I could just leave, but I mean, but I can't just leave, and until I have it firm in my mind what I want to do, and what I want to do is not leave until I've already got a place in line for me, and which I can just move into, and that's not happening anytime soon because I don't have work. So So I'm very upset about it. I mean, I'm not like emotionally upset. I'm not crying. I mean, today I was just like going, playing piano and ignoring them by being on the computer. But it is upsetting in a way, to have to put up with it or feel like you have to put up with it, or having had, you failed yourself in some way to be put in a position where you have to put up with it again. And even just choosing to come here instead of staying in a hotel until I've got a rental, and losing a perfectly good job and a heap of money with the move, So, I wish I could sort of not have to put up with it, but I don't have a place in line, and I'm not sort of, I don't know, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm not really in the money. I mean, I was earning good money for a couple months, but now that it's gone, I don't know what I should be doing about money. I sort of want a work from home position while all this disease stuff is in the air, but I don't know whether I'll get that. I have to sort of go out. Every time I go outside, my skin feels like it's swelling up. Like, it doesn't physically swell up, but it feels like it does. And I keep thinking this is like the Chinese energy that you're supposed to be feeling and stuff, but because it feels kind of like, but yeah, I don't like that feeling. But yeah, but I just don't want to know anyone, and I want to be rich, and I can't be because I've never had a job which does pay you a lot of money. So, and people get, oh, you should do modeling, but I've tried that, and I'm never small enough. I mean, they want me like a stick, they want me like, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to do that, every day. I mean, you have to do a ton of exercise. You get put under a lot of abuse because everyone's like, oh, your teeth any, you're anorexic, even though you're not, And sure enough, yeah, I can see, like, how that would be, like, the better picture, but yeah, I quit modeling ages ago, like, the modeling dream, because I wasn't living by myself. I was, vulnerable to being attacked, and I wasn't good looking enough. I mean, I already knew that, but I mean, I got like really bad teeth, but I hated people telling me, well, I'm a good weight, that I'm just not skinny enough or anything, and obviously they'd, been informed about what size I should be according to a model standard, because I've got a lot of people thinking bad of me when I look perfectly good, even better than what I was ever as a teen, and everyone's like canceling out how I feel and just like saying, oh, that's not good enough, like even out of modeling. And you're like going, well, screw you, I'm thinner than what I was when I was younger. I haven't been under a size 12 since before I was, I think it was a size 12 from like age 8 or something. And I've never been under, it's only in my later teenage years that I started to, do the exercise to get you under. And I'm like saying, screw you, I feel perfectly good. I look kind of good, I mean, I didn't look perfect, but I look pretty good. But better than what I look like now. And I'm just like going, I know, I think it's like, you just want to get mad, but everyone thinks it's justified to be angry at you for not being a particular weight. So, they don't care if you've never been a small weight before. They don't really care about anything about what they think, and it's very pig-headed because, for them to think poorly of you when you actually feel pretty darn good about yourself, so, I mean, sure, and people do age, after 5-10 years, been 20 years since, and people, like, do age after a while. I was holding a pretty good weight, for a long time, and then they're like getting people to attack you and stuff, so because everyone's like, oh, you're suddenly like so fat, the fattest thing in the world, and you're like, that? Everyone thought I was pretty when I was a teenager, and I was fatter than that, People thought I could be a dancer when I was a teenager, and I was fatter than that, so calling me fat when I got my weight down further than it's ever been down since after I was 8, 9, whatever, when I was 8 and 9, size 12 was sort of an overweight weight, but, then, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, etc., all those other years, size 12, and then, you get yourself down a little bit to a size 11, everyone's blasting you, and going, and for being thinner than what you've ever been, and then you get yourself down to a size 10, everyone's still blasting you. At the size 8, everyone's still blasting you. Then you go into a modeling agency and they're saying, that size 8's pretty good, but then as you get your weight up to a size 10, and they're like, that size 10's no good. But for you, it is. So, screw them. It's perfectly good for bloody TV and film. You have like different people in different weight categories. I mean, there's no like one weight, and for TV and film, like there are different categories for different weights, and you should have been put into the right category. They're like, when are you a size 6? And you're normally like a size 12. So, it's just no good. Modeling agency isn't any good, and the agency I was involved with wasn't any good. It was probably like a really bad agency to be with anyway. I thought it was like kind of disgusting, actually. I didn't really like their attitudes. I mean, one person wanted me to look like Salma Hayek, and I'm like, try and break my face to get a jaw like that, and I'll, want to chuck you out of a window. and then another person just wanted someone who looked like a model, etc. So they wanted someone really tight and really thin, like a twig, and I just got a lot of, bad people, like people thinking bad thoughts of me because I met them, and their modeling studio was like pretty art house. It was like pretty disgusting actually because of all the nude pictures it had all over the place. So it was probably like a really bad studio anyway. So I didn't care. So I just said whatever. You try and be open minded when you it's at different places, but it's like, well, screw that. Now I'm not like very good at modeling. I mean, they tried me to do like all these street shots that some people can pull off, but it didn't actually suit me very well, and they didn't know how to, move around to find a way to make me look good. And instead, they possibly took a range of really bad pictures and said, "You're not a model. Look at these pictures." And you're like, "Okay, well, you couldn't like actually try to take a good picture, could you?" Because I have been to a bloody photography studio, and they move things around until you have a good picture, and then these people just let the camera fly, and then they took it, a lot of bad pictures. Apparently, I only saw one or two of them, and I said, okay, that one looks like I'm in the middle of a conversation and whatnot, but and I didn't get to see all of them because they didn't want me to see if I thought any of them were actually good, and I think possibly some of them might have been. But, they didn't know how to do my hair. They didn't know how to do my look to make me look good. I have a pretty ordinary look in the first place. And my hair's pretty slack, it needs curling, and it might even need perming. But even perming, my hair's like really kind of slack. Like, it looks slack against my face, So it looks like it needs to be pumped up with curls or something most of the time, and they just took it out and played with it a tiny bit, and then expected it to look great when it didn't. So, and I'm like, oh, that figures. I mean, that's what my hair looks like. And they didn't know how to make me look pretty good anyway. It's like, well, that's pretty great. I mean, I never thought I'd be able to be a model. In fact, I the first thing I said when I walked into my first modeling agency is I would like to do photographic modeling and extra work. And I really wanted the extras work because extras just stand around on the side and watch the actors work, that. And they didn't listen, and instead they're pushing out to bloody front the main parts, when you should be right behind with the extras, just walking around, learning how to walk fast, how to walk slow, how to sit still and stuff, and they're like, no, you don't get anything as an extra, you want a part, and they're like pushing for a part, and you're like, well, how am I supposed to get a part, when you got teeth like you do, when you got, you're not really a main part kind of character, you're an extra, But they didn't care, and I said, well, if you don't care, I'll just apply for this anyway, and I'm happy to, walk in, do whatever, but, I'm not expecting anyone to say, oh, I actually think this might be good for you. So, but I don't really think I'm very much in love with modeling. I mean, I wish I could just make $1 million anyways, but the only way I'm going to do that is possibly with my art. And so far it hasn't worked. I just have to try and get another job. I'm not really into bouncing around from place to place, but I know I probably have like 10, 20 years of bouncing around left. And the problem with bouncing is not just that you're unstable, it's just that it feels like something you should have been doing when you were younger and you had plenty of time to waste to be able to bounce. But now that I'm older, I have plenty of time, but limited time as well, so it's pretty unstable for me. And why am I talking about all this? What's it going to prove? I'm actually waiting for the kitchen to be free, which is why I'm taking so long to have a conversation, but yeah. Sorry. They had some chocolate. But anyway, yeah, but it's a shame that I never knew what I wanted to do when I was young, and then I grew up and found it harder to get jobs or keep jobs than possibly usual. And everyone around you has already had their money as a kid. They're like kid celebrities and stuff, and they're thinking poorly of you whenever you do something. But I hate meeting people. I wish I didn't have to, because I feel very negative when people have let you down or thought badly of you. I feel very negative about that. And sometimes often when you're in a work environment, you feel like you're the only real applicant. Everyone else has done it before, and it's like, you look at all the kinky things people do and you're like going, okay, well, I'll just, sit here and do what I do, try doing as best as I can, and let everyone else, with who's in the know, like, just walk all over the place, Look at my last job, no one who I'd trained with was actually working around me, but they were there, somewhere in the building, walking around, doing whatever. But, they just weren't where I was, and so I was just working by myself. Pretty much, I was like, yeah, who cares, if someone just comes back to their locker to take something out, put something in, take something out again, and walk around a bit more, it's like, you don't know what they're doing, but they know what they're doing, and you're like, okay, well, screw that, I'll just keep working by myself. So, so that's what it feels like. It feels like everyone's been there, done it, they know what they're doing, and you're the newbie sort of thing. It's like that in every workplace that even at interviews, it's like you feel like everyone's done it before and you're the only one who's doing it for the first time. So in that way, you think everything's fixed a little bit, but it's never 100% fixed. I mean, you still don't know whether you'll get a job or not or anything, so it's still like a pick and choose, pick and match, whatever. So, but yeah, but I haven't had too many difficulties with jobs up here. I mean, they've been more straightforward than the other jobs that I've experienced in another state. So, they've actually sort of been pleasant, and I think, but the first one I went to was a little bit unpleasant at the end, and it made me thrown off from wanting to go at the end, but but this last one was pretty good. I mean, if I get offered it again, I might go for it, and then I'll be able to move out and whatnot, but they're not going to offer you any work until next year if they do offer you work, so I've got a full on, 8 months? maybe 12 months, full on 12 months to do whatever. So about a year. And I'm just facing a lot of intolerance. And I sort of want to move, but I know I don't want to move, and I don't know what everyone's doing with Corona around. So, and I'm not going to just move, apply for the job that I had, gotten before and just get it. It's not, it's going to be like on the board for years before I get it. And so, yeah, no, it's going to be on the board for years before I get it. And until that time, I have to make myself float. And I don't know how to do that, apparently. Life pretty much sucks, so I wish it could be like a teenager again. Because I need that much time to be able to grow up. Because I've had to relive my income years again, my growth. Because what level I was on collapsed, and I had to start again. And now I'm on the base level, and no one my age is on the base level. Everyone's on the upper level. They were on the upper level when I was after I was 18, because they were all child stars. But regardless of that, in general, people are generally not on my level when they're my age. And I'm like doing great. Just what I wanted. More time hanging out with the real family. No, not even the real family, just the family. In a family home. That's always what I wanted. It's just what I wanted to be. I mean, I always wanted to live with my family forever, and I never wanted to be apart from them at all, because they treat me just perfect, and life is perfect when I'm with them. And I'm being sarcastic right now, obviously. But I guess it's better than being rent. I mean, rent really sucks, which is why I don't want to rent anymore. I mean, I really hate rents. I mean, I've got like rentophobia or something, because they're like someone else's house. You're giving all your money that you have to someone, and just to be able to have a place to live. And it sucks. You don't know the area. You don't know how people are going to attack you. But like with jobs, you feel like you're walking into like a nest, and there are people around that's always been around there for a long time. And when they start attacking you, if they start attacking you, it's very unpleasant, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I know you wish that you had thrown all that money that you spent on your rent into your own place. I'm not like my parents. My parents are the kinds of people who don't want to own a house, unless they're given it one to them. They won't want to be in something that they own, and so they just waste all their money on rent. And they make it hard for you to own your own house, because they don't want you to do better than them. They want you to die in a rent too. And you're like going, I hate rents. I hate this being unstable, and I hate instability, and I hate old houses. I want a new house, and etc. etc. So, you hate everything that they like. And just because they like have this worldly plan of being a degenerate for all their life, it doesn't mean that you should be too. But that's what they'll want for you, unless they're not degenerate, because that'll threaten. If you're not less than a degenerate, that means you're better than them. And it's not like you even better than them. You just want something that they've never had. So I hate that. I hate being attacked and being thrown off my path of what I want, so that someone else can say, well, I'm the boss, and my um I'm the boss and I'm always going to be your king, and you almost trespass, you almost trespass to be, they freak out, when they realize, that you might be close to what you want, getting closer to what you want, but while they think that you're just lounging around at home, stuck indoors, earning nothing, it's like, and they think that you're a loser and they want to think you that, but they're suddenly freaked out when someone tells them that you're not quite the kind of person that they think you are, and that you possibly have a bright future, or something. So, I've always being attacked. When someone thinks I have money and being attacked is ruin it off, and that's what happened. I was attacked. I left home because I was attacked, and yeah, and I lost all my money, everything I wanted, everything. That feeling of you almost have you almost have a good feeling, and now I'm just a loser, stuck with losers, who don't think very much of you, and they just want to say, get out, this is my home. This is my home, this is like, we're mine, and you're nothing, you don't have nothing, you're a loser. So, yeah. So it doesn't make me feel very good, does it? Not even a festive day when people are supposed to be happy. It's like, well, I don't have a board game to be try and make people happy, so if I don't have anything to distract anyone from what they actually think, I'm getting the cold shoulder. So I wasted $40 today on playing games, which is a bad habit. I shouldn't do that. And now I feel bad. I only recovered like $13 of it. So I have 28 more dollars to recover from that bout of aggression. No, from that bout of gameplay.